So what would you say if I told you that your words, your actions, and even your thoughts had an effect on water? Would that make you curious? I was 15 years old when we bought our first sailboat, and it didn't take long to realize how powerful water really is. I became really curious about water and wanted to learn everything about it, about its powers and about its properties. And I found a great research project online from the middle 90s by this Japanese researcher who believed that the human consciousness had an effect on the molecular structure of water. So he set out to test his theory. He took 2 jars of water. On one jar, he wrote the word love. On the other, hate. He put those jars in the freezer, and he later analyzed the ice crystals under a microscope. What he found was really interesting, because what he found was that the love crystals were beautifully shaped crystals. They were like perfect snowflakes. The hate crystals, on the other hand, they were warped and malformed and misshaped. Curious about this, he did the experiment over and over and over and over a number of years. He used different types of water. He used river water, lake water, tap water, distilled water, and he used water from around the world. He also used different words. He used Mother Teresa and Hitler, peace and war. And he also played different types of music. He played soft classical music and heavy metal rock music. Every experiment he did created the same results. Results that have also been recreated numerous times around the world using different mediums, things like plants and rice. All the researchers' evidence suggested that our thoughts, our actions, and our words have a profound effect on something as basic as water. Now, given that we as human beings are 60 to 70% water, and the world we live in is 71% water, that's pretty significant. So why am I speaking about this? I'm speaking about this because I believe when we become aware of our thoughts, our actions, and our words, that perpetual kindness from one person to the next can move individuals to do the same, creating a global movement. It is not enough to just be kind these days. We need to talk about the kindness so that we can create that awareness and start to make that shift. Now, I get that kindness is a bit of a fluffy word. I like facts, so I have some facts about kindness. Fact number 1. Similar to antidepressants, kindness stimulates the production of serotonin. Serotonin helps heal our wounds and puts us in a general state of happiness. Fact number 2. Kindness spreads through 3 degrees of separation. When I do something kind, I receive a boost of serotonin. When somebody does something kind for you, you receive a boost, as does every single person who witnessed that act. So if you think back on a time when maybe you were standing in line for coffee and the person in front of you bought your coffee unexpectedly, how did that make you feel? Or another time when maybe you bought a coffee for the person behind you, how did that make you feel? That's a boost of serotonin. And it's my guess that everybody who witnessed those 2 acts probably had a smile on their face and carried that event with them throughout the rest of the day. Kindness spreads through 3 degrees of separation. Fact number 3, and this is one of my favorites. Perpetually kind people have 23% less cortisol in their system. Cortisol is the stress hormone. So, in my mind, perpetually kind people have 23% less stress in their system. They also age slower than the average population. And fact number 5, kindness produces oxytocin. Oxytocin is sometimes referred to as the love hormone or the cuddle hormone. It promotes bonding and connecting. It stimulates trust and generosity. And it boosts our immune system. These are some pretty amazing facts about kindness. And I get that I'm a little bit biased, but really they're amazing. So now that we know some of the facts and benefits, what exactly is kindness? Kindness is defined as the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate. We live in a world where many challenges stem from a lack of kindness. Things like bullying, cyberbullying, racism, anxiety, and self-loathing, to name just a few. These things affect everyday people like you and me, every day. But by becoming aware of our thoughts, our actions, and our words, we have the power to significantly reduce these issues worldwide. See, I believe that we're actually born with a sense of kindness. But the world we live in changes how we react to it. Because for one, the world that we live in, we are busy. We're busy with our families. We're busy with our friends. We're busy at work. We're busy online. We're busy Netflix, Game of Thrones. We're busy texting. We're busy driving. We're in fact so busy that we're texting and driving at the same time. Just don't tell your insurance company. We are busy. And so, as we go from day to day to day, from task to task to task, we become thoughtless in our thoughts, our actions, and our words. And it's that thoughtlessness that's killing kindness. We live in a society that accepts the poor treatment of others. It says it's okay for us to answer anonymously online. It says it's okay for us to gossip about and make fun of celebrities and other people that we may or may not know. In fact, we actually have whole TV shows and radio spots devoted to celebrity gossip. And our society says it's okay for us to have these things and do these things without even having to take accountability for our actions and our words. And we do these things without thinking of the effect it has on another person or the world around us. For me, when I think about what our society says is okay and what is not okay, I think of Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus, and those are just two of the people that come to my mind. And I can hear some of you thinking, what is she talking about? People loved these two when they were just starting out, when they were bright, shiny, fresh, young stars. Now they're a few years older and have a few mistakes under their belt, same as the rest of us. Yet now it's okay for us to make fun of them and to gossip about them. If we are to believe any of the water evidence, this seemingly inconsequential negativity is having a mass impact on our world. But we can make a change. And whether you believe the water crystal study or not, when we become aware of our thoughts, our actions, and our words, change happens. I'd like to tell you a story about my friend Jamie in Ireland. Jamie was walking to the store one day, and he came across a man who was literally sitting on the ledge of a bridge. Jamie went up to the man and asked him, "Are you okay?" The man didn't answer, and Jamie noticed that he was crying. Jamie stayed with him for a while, and eventually the man did come off the ledge, and they sat at the side of the road together for about 45 minutes, at which time the man agreed that yes, Jamie could call an ambulance for him. When the ambulance came, Jamie exchanged phone numbers with the fellow, and 3 months later, Jamie received a text message saying, "Thank you for saving my life. I was not okay on that day. I'm happy to say that I'm doing much better now. And I wanted to let you know that the son that my wife and I were expecting then, we've decided to name after you." When we become aware of our thoughts, our actions, and our words, we become aware of the legacy that we leave in our wake, of the path that's paved with our thoughts, our actions, and our words. We're going to leave a trail behind us anyway. Why not leave a trail of kindness? And kindness isn't hard or heroic. Kindness is simple, everyday things. It's things like letting that car in front of you in traffic instead of speeding up to fill the gap. That's not good for anybody's cortisol levels. It's things like holding the door open for those 4 extra seconds for that person who is almost right behind you. And it's things like looking at somebody and smiling at them as they walk by, rather than averting our eyes. Because how many of us do that or have seen that? And kindness is sometimes as simple as asking somebody, "Are you okay?" Because what I know about life is that I don't know. I don't know where that person's going in front of me in traffic. I can certainly make up a story in my head, but that's just it. It's a story I've made up in my head. And the reality is, I really don't know. I don't know anything about the person that I've just held the door open for. And I don't know how much that person may have needed that smile that day. But what I do know is for every act of kindness that I do, it has a ripple effect that I don't even know about or see. If Jamie hadn't thought to follow up with the man on the bridge that day, he would have never known the effect he had on that man's life, let alone that of his unborn son. You know, people say that relationships are built on trust. I believe they're built on kindness. Because without kindness, you don't even get to the trust part. Jamie had to be kind to the man on the bridge in order for him to trust him enough to come off that ledge. We sometimes forget the gift of kindness that we all have inside of us and how easy it is to give away. We are often reminded of this, though, when tragedy strikes. When a terrorist attack hits close to home. When a natural disaster occurs. Or when a bus accident claims the lives of a sports team. These tragedies remind us that we are all in this one world together, and we come together at this time and we create this amazing community built on kindness. Let's not let that bandwagon have a short run. Let's make kindness a daily habit. Because kindness costs nothing, yet it has lasting, lifelong effects. Imagine sending your children or your grandchildren to school where they learn and practice kindness on a daily basis, rather than them having to attend an anti-bullying assembly or a lockdown drill. Imagine creating and inspiring enough kindness in this world so that bullying, cyberbullying, racism, anxiety, and self-loathing no longer exist in our world. Imagine the difference you could make by becoming more thoughtful in your thoughts, your actions, and your words. I mentioned earlier how we need to talk about kindness that we can create that awareness and start to make that shift. A couple of months ago, as I was preparing for this talk, I saw a little girl on the seawall. She was maybe about 4 years old, had a long pink t-shirt on that said, "Bullying stops here." I believe these t-shirts need to say, "Kindness starts here," so that we can start changing our own water molecules and the molecules of the world around us, and so we can start focusing on the positive rather than the negative. Because our world feeds on negativity and fear through social media, through the news, even through TV commercials if you listen closely. But it is so easy to see how one kind act, one kind word or gesture really can change somebody's life. Kindness is so simple, yet we make it so hard and we give it more meaning than we need to. Kindness is defined as the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate. So let's do that. Let's be that, and the impact will come. Science and history prove that as momentum takes hold, global shift happens. Rather than dressing people down, it seems more important to empower them with kindness. Let that be the norm. Let that be the momentum that science says moves us forward. Let's defy the expectations that people will be judgmental or less than kind. Because we need to treat others with kindness so that they feel valued enough to pay that kindness forward. And kindness starts with being kind to ourselves. It's also really important to remember that the people that are hardest to be kind to are often the ones who need it the most. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "You cannot do a kindness too soon, for you never know how soon it will be too late." You cannot do a kindness too soon, for you never know how soon it will be too late. So start your ripples. Start them today, start new ones tomorrow, and the next day after that, and every day of your life after that. Become thoughtful in your thoughts, your actions, and your words, and notice the effect it has on you and the people around you. Look at your neighbor and give them a smile. No, really, go ahead. I still have 2 minutes. There you go. Hold the door open for somebody on your way out today. Let somebody in front of you in traffic the next time you're driving to work or wherever you're driving. Look at, smile at, and maybe even say hi to the next person you pass on the street. Become thoughtful in your thoughts, your actions, and your words. And remember how easy it is to give away a gift of kindness. And I can guarantee you that you can and will make a difference not only in your life and the lives of those around you, but in this world because of it. Thank you.